At 4:50 a.m. on February 21, 1943, Brigadier General Paul Robinet stood in a shallow wadi, 20 miles east of Tbessa, Tunisia, studying the horizon as German forces massed for an attack he knew was imminent. Across the Desert Fox, Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, prepared to strike, carrying with him the momentum of victories stretching back 2 years across North Africa, where he had driven British armies before him, winning battles at Gazala, Tobruk, and countless smaller engagements, mastering the art of mobile desert warfare. Only 3 days earlier, Rommel had smashed through American forces at Casarine Pass, demonstrating the lethal efficiency of combined arms tactics and armored coordination. Tbessa, the main Allied supply hub, lay directly in his path. Capturing it would sever lines of communication for thousands of American soldiers and secure enough fuel and ammunition to sustain his Africa Corps for months. Robinet, a meticulous and methodical commander, commanded Combat Command B of the 1st Armored Division. His force consisted of 48 Sherman tanks, 31 tank destroyers, 3 infantry battalions, and 11 artillery batteries, a force that, while numerically comparable to Rommel's, lacked the battlefield experience and seasoned cohesion of the veteran Germans. Rommel's attack would involve elements of the 10th and 21st Panzer Divisions and the Italian Centauro Armored Division, perhaps 120 tanks, supported by mechanized infantry and artillery, troops who had honed their skills in the harsh desert for 2 years, perfectly trained in the coordination of tanks, infantry, and artillery, capable of overwhelming American forces in a single, decisive blow. In contrast, most American soldiers had been in combat for only 9 days. Many had never faced a German soldier before, had never been under artillery fire, and had never witnessed the horrors of death on the battlefield. Rommel, confident in his assessment, expected an easy victory, as his reports and intelligence indicated American units were inexperienced, poorly led, and disorganized. For the first 72 hours of the campaign, he had been correct. Combat Command A had been destroyed at Bzid on February 14th, the attack catching American infantry isolated on hills, unable to support each other, while German armor bypassed and annihilated their positions. Retreats at Spitler had devolved into chaos, American vehicles jammed in roads under relentless artillery fire, equipment abandoned, cohesion lost, nearly half the division destroyed in just 4 days. Yet Robinet approached the unfolding battle differently, drawing lessons from these early disasters. Over February 19th and 20th, he conducted thorough reconnaissance of the terrain north of Spitler, searching for defensible ground east of Tbessa where his forces could leverage natural features to channel enemy attacks and maximize the effectiveness of his limited resources. He chose the Bahei-Fusana Valley, a site where the flat valley floor would force German armor to advance under observation and fire, while the surrounding wadis allowed Sherman tanks to hide hull down, presenting minimal target exposure while still delivering effective fire. Ridgelines provided ideal observation posts for artillery forward observers, enabling them to call in pre-registered fire concentrations on any assembling German formations. Infantry was placed on the ridges to protect the flanks, cover tank positions, and prevent infiltration, while tank destroyers were deployed forward in concealed positions to disrupt initial German advances before falling back to secondary positions to allow the hidden Shermans to engage. Artillery was arrayed in depth, with over 60 guns from 11 batteries, prepared with pre-registered fire zones covering every likely avenue of approach, from the valley floor to hidden assembly points, each shell concentration assigned and rehearsed to fall within moments of the forward observers' calls. Robinet held detailed command conferences with every battalion and company commander, ensuring all units understood their sectors, their relationships to other forces, and their roles in a cohesive, integrated defense. Radio communications were rigorously coordinated so that any German probe, any attack, would trigger immediate, precise responses from all units simultaneously. This careful preparation contrasted sharply with the piecemeal, improvised American responses earlier in February, where units were committed without reconnaissance, without coordination, and without understanding of terrain or enemy tactics. On the morning of February 21st, German reconnaissance reported the Americans dug in and prepared in strength. Rommel, confident in the superiority of his veterans and the momentum of his attacks, ordered an assault regardless. At 1,400 hours, 40 panzers of the 10th Panzer Division advanced up the valley, Italian Bersaglieri infantry trailing in trucks. They anticipated disorder and retreat. Instead, they found a coordinated, integrated defense. Forward tank destroyers engaged first, hitting German armor at 1,500 yards, forcing the panzers to deploy prematurely. Hidden Sherman tanks then revealed themselves from hull-down positions, firing into the exposed German vehicles and infantry. Artillery fell in pre-registered concentrations, devastating truck-borne infantry and mechanized formations, halting the advance. Rommel personally observed the battlefield, expecting Americans to crumble as they had at Busid and Spitler, yet their lines held, coordinated, resilient. His fuel dwindled, his ammunition was strained, and despite launching another attack the following morning, German forces could not break the American defenses. By mid-afternoon on February 22, American artillery, all 132 guns from 11 batteries, unleashed a sustained bombardment, transforming the valley into a lethal killing ground. German tanks were destroyed, infantry decimated, momentum shattered, and Rommel, recognizing the unprecedented adaptation of American forces, ordered a withdrawal through Casarine Pass, abandoning hopes of capturing Tbessa. The American defensive stand, executed by Robinet, demonstrated lessons learned in mere days: the necessity of combined arms coordination, the importance of proper positioning, the decisive role of artillery when integrated with forward observers, and the value of unified, competent leadership. This rapid adaptation contrasted sharply with earlier failures and transformed the perception of American forces. Following the battle, Patton replaced the 2nd Corps commander and implemented rigorous discipline, combined arms training, and clear command structures, rebuilding units capable of coordinated offensive and defensive operations. By mid-March, American forces advanced methodically across Tunisia, applying the lessons from Kasserine, holding high ground with infantry, covering open ground with artillery, and supporting armor with infantry. When German counterattacks came, they failed to penetrate prepared defenses. By May 13th, Axis forces in North Africa surrendered, capturing over 275,000 prisoners and confirming that rapid learning, leadership, preparation, and coordination had transformed previously inexperienced forces into an effective fighting army in just 12 weeks. Rommel, observing these changes, understood that American forces were no longer inexperienced or weak. They could learn rapidly, adapt under fire, and, given proper leadership and preparation, become formidable opponents. His warnings to German high command were ignored, but the evidence of American resilience, combined arms proficiency, and tactical adaptability foreshadowed the challenges Germany would face in Sicily, Italy, and Normandy. The battlefield at Casarine Pass, once the site of chaos and near defeat, became a testament to what disciplined leadership, careful preparation, and rapid adaptation could achieve, proving that an army could learn from losses, recover, and ultimately prevail. The physical markers of the battle have long since vanished, yet the lessons of February 21, 1943, remain: preparation, leadership, coordination, and the capacity to learn under fire can turn potential disaster into strategic advantage. Robinet's defensive stand, though overshadowed by early setbacks, demonstrated that even against a master tactician like Rommel, disciplined American forces, properly positioned and led, could hold their ground, absorb lessons from failure, and evolve into a decisive instrument of victory, shaping the trajectory of the war in North Africa and beyond.